Welcome. And the question today from Cherry Cola 32 is, what is the stupidest thing you've done just to show you could do it? Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his llama pen, so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. If this is your first time watching our videos, help me out by watching to the end, and then giving me some feedback in the comment area below. And if you want more of these videos daily, don't forget to like and subscribe, with notifications turned on for this channel. Oh boy, let's get ready for some drama. Universal polymath answer with. My partner was a heavy smoker, and at the time, I'd never touched a cigarette. I would subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, but always lovingly, urge her to quit. She told me I had no idea how hard it was. I decided to take up smoking for about a month and then quit just to show her I could do it. That was 10 years ago. I'm on a pack a day. She no longer smokes. This might be the worst one yet. I really hope you can overcome smoking though. Feel you, start smoking because my friend told me that I was too much of a kitty cat to take a smoke. 5 years later I was diagnosed with cancer. Managed to stop smoking after that. Pogo 1974 answered with. I let a black widow spider bite me to prove that they were venomous but not deadly. I also won a $150 bet. How do you even make the bet as the friend in this situation? Like best case scenario you lose $150, worst case you win $150 and your friend dies. It basically resulted in an argument that got out of hand. Eventually it got to the point where I said I could let it bite me. And I wouldn't even go to the hospital. Challenges were issued and money came into it. Brother Meowzone reacted with. In grade school, maybe age 11 or 12, I had these cheap jeans. I figured out that I could flex my belly and pop the button open. Found this funny and guy friends in class got a laugh too. One of them turns to a girl. Hey girl, check out what op can do. I flexed my belly and let out a huge fart while the button popped open. She turned away, my buddy laughed, and I never did this trick again. Hellbent for Leisure answered with. As a kid I told my friends I could hold my breath for a long time, long enough to pass out, in fact. And that's exactly what I proceeded to do. My friends and used to have those breathing contests in the pool, where you'd go underwater and see who could hold in their breath the longest. I'm a really competitive person, so of course I won. I passed out in the pool when I was 9 doing this. The lifeguard was too busy flirting to care and he thought I was faking it. DemiDork231 answered with. I told my 6th grade friends I could just off a 2-story roof and not get hurt. Guess who only got a scraped knee that day? Not me. I broke my leg. She liked my kicks answered with. When I was 6, I stapled my fingers because I had convinced all of my friends that I had iron hands. I was around that age too and I was fiddling around with a stapler. And stapled my pointer fingers together. It was the skin just next to the nail so it barely hurt. I went downstairs to tell my mom who was doing laundry that I stapled my fingers together. I still remember the look on her face to this day. Then again that was yesterday so of course I remember. Move along now people answered with. I stabbed my leg with a pencil in elementary school. I told people I couldn't really feel much pain, which, at the time, was true. There was a spot on my leg from the lead for years. Pumpkin Boy answered with. I downed half a fifth of Jaeger in one go because everyone said I could not do it. Ended up falling in a river outside my apartment, having a smoke midwinter in Michigan. Washed down about a quarter mile before I could grab onto something to get out. Made my way back home. Nobody had any idea until I walked in soaking wet in frozen clothes. It was about that time I passed the F out on the floor. Looking back they probably should have taken me to hospital. Lol. You're lucky to be alive. Hylian 2092 answered with. Parents put a curfew on the computer when I was 12 during summer break. No gaming from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. A reasonable person would go to bed at 10 to 10:30 and wake up at 7 to play, right? 12-year-old me just stayed up until 6 a.m., woke up my parents, and played until noon. Then died until dinner. Rinse and repeat for a few days until my parents got sick of waking up at 6 a.m. Then I went back to gaming until like 2 a.m. Holy poop, this blew up. To answer some reoccurring questions. They physically locked the computer room. I could not get access to the room without picking or breaking the lock. And I wasn't going to do that. I don't recall the game exactly, my gut feeling is survival project, though. Yes, I understand your parent or you would have just changed the opening time to 8 a.m. or noon or 8 p.m. But my parents taught us to stick to our word. If a contract between parties was made, it couldn't be changed. Without agreement from both parties or extenuating circumstances. An oversight on someone's part isn't enough. It cut both ways. If we made a promise to our parents, we were expected to uphold it as well. Ha ha ha. That's awesome. Reminds me of when my parents tried to do that by locking the physical cabinet door to the computer tower. I just moved the desk forward and pulled out the tower from the back. Then they tried to lock Windows itself and I just bypassed Windows during DOS boot. By spamming escape and went into Linux instead. The game I was trying to get to was an online Java game. They gave up after that. Octetus answered with. There comes a point in every drunk man's life where he finds himself standing on the edge of a precipice. Apartment building roof, staring into the distance at glory, IF tree. Separated from him by a challenge, a 3-story fall. The weak man will shrug his shoulders. Slink back to safety. And carry on with his night as if he never glimpsed what could have been. But the bold stupid man will look across the chasm and see the greatness that awaits him on the other side. He will stride to the edge, hand off the extra reserve of courage here, that he no longer needs for what must be done. He will stare into the heavens and proclaim into the night, I can jump that far. It turns out that I could not jump that far. Gentle Sir 123 answered with. Crushing beers on my forehead? Still stupid. I'll still do it. Brain damage? No. Drain damage. Oh 0 answered with. Drank a block of molten butter out of a funnel you normally use for beer. It goes down surprisingly easy, but I was sick for the rest of the day. At least I got a beer and a new block of butter as compensation. This sounds awful, but I'm glad you did it, for science. Minnie answered with. Both times were to impress a lady. First one was I picked up a 2 to 3 foot long gopher snake. I successfully grabbed it, but it also bit the F out of me. The second one I still get anxiety sometimes when I think about it. But I was drunk as F and with a girl I really liked. And for some reason the subject of climbing this parking garage came up. And I felt the need to show everyone that we were. With it you could indeed climb the building from a single pipe on the side. I then without warning immediately began my ascent. And was already a floor up before my friends could stop me. I then proceeded to climb all 5 stories using the wall and the pipe. Topped out to all the people we were with freaking out. And then my best friend slapped the poop out of me. Good times, but that could have been bad. I actually looked through your history to see if you were my friend that pulled off this same stunt. At least now you know you're not the only one that has done this. Oh, I've slapped a friend many times for the same reason. Unfortunately it didn't work. One night he jumped into the harbor, hit a floating deck and broke a vertebra. We had to jump into the water and fish him out before this darn butt could drown. Miraculously, he suffered no long-term damage. He had to wear a corset for 4 months though. Keep on slapping, or whatever else works, your friends. When they do stupid things like climbing a building when drunk, you may save their life. Dude, you are bloody lucky. A fall at any height above about 10 feet and you could quite possibly have broken your spine. Tired mental breakdown answered with. Ran a marathon. Did a half marathon with an okay time and pace with training. Got overzealous, decided I was ready for a full marathon with less training. Oh boy, was that a humbling experience. My pace all the way to the halfway point was good. Same pace as my half marathon, but the other half of the marathon hit me like a brick. Almost dead last, but still managed to do it. Master of One answered with. I used to work at a poopy movie theater. As it gets to midnight all the employees hang out behind the concessions counter. And shoot the poop, eat the popcorn before we have to throw it out. Etc. One of them dared someone to do a butter shot. But like, the liquid butter for popcorn is way closer to straight oil. So an oil shot. I'm always a slut for attention, so I said pass it to me. And I downed it without letting myself think about the consequences. It tasted like liquid plastic and I hated it, but everyone was howling. And incredulous, and I felt cool for a whole minute. Shat my brains out the next morning. Worth it. Reno Rico answered with, punched a giant plate glass window out of a jewelry shop in Palm Springs when I was 21. Total drunk pecker energy, window slashed my hand wide open. And all I remember is seeing my buddy sprinting away when the store alarm started blaring. My other friend picked me up in front of the store. Blood was literally spraying out of my hand all over his back seat. And he got me to hospital and into ICU. When the emergency room doctor pulled out a 6-inch needle, I passed out cold. Woke up about 12 hours later with a throbbing headache, bandages up hand. Finals started the next week and I couldn't write with my left hand, so I had to use my right. Also took me a good year to get my dexterity back to play guitar. Total a-hole move on my part. Unicorn Horn Porno 554 answered with, snuck out a window in the middle of class. Ran about 30 feet to the parking lot and touched the teacher's car without him noticing. It was a robotics class. Some kids missed it. And didn't believe me, so I did it a second time. Edit, this was in middle school too. Lol. And it had those windows that like slant, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. And finally, my fave El Burro movie answered with, slapping my own face more than twice during an event. On the stage while everyone was watching. I don't know why I did that. Well, there you have it. A perfectly great question answered by a bunch of fine and honorable citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off. Thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. I think he found more drama for me to share with you. See you soon.